The Texans had their second OTAs open to the media. I was there. Let's talk all about it, from Stefon Diggs' debut to some of the other news and notables coming out of OTA practice number 2. Welcome to the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. Stefon Diggs' debut will start the show. Cornerback 2 conversation. The tight ends tell the story, who made the plays of the day, and then so much more from you. Your questions answered about OTAs. If you're in the comment section, stay there. We'll get to you throughout the course of this video. Appreciate you watching it live. If you're not watching it live, you're watching this after the fact, get in the comment section down below. We'll still take care of you when you have your comments, joys, concerns, or anything like that. Super chats go to the front of the line. And let's get started with the way that this thing started. The number one thing that I wanted to see from the Texans at OTAs was Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs made his debut wearing his number 1, the change from 14 in Buffalo, and that was the first person I was looking for when the stretch line started. Scanning, looking. Where's Stefon Diggs? Did he show? Is he here? Of course, he was not there last Tuesday. And yes, indeed, the newly acquired wide receiver, one of the few additions to this offense here, and one of the biggest additions in this offseason, was at practice. And you go through warm-ups, you go through a couple of drills. That's not where you learn about Stefon Diggs. Where you learn about Stefon Diggs is when they went 7-on-7, when they went 11-on-11. And let me tell you what, right out of the gate on 7-on-7, Stefon Diggs was taking care of his business. He looks quick. He looks like he is every bit the big-time, multi-time Pro Bowl wide receiver that he is billed to be. And for a guy that maybe hasn't been to all the OTAs, didn't look like there was a lot of rust to knock off from Stefon Diggs. Now, we still haven't heard from Diggs. He didn't talk after the OTAs, so we had a chance for mandatory minicamp next week for him to talk. But what Diggs can do for this team and what he can bring to the table is clear and apparent from the jump when you watch him go through some of these workouts, you watch him work. And look, the Texans have solid defensive backs. Here's the problem with that. They did not have the top cornerback, Derek Stingley, on Stefon Diggs. You know why? Because they had Stefon Diggs running routes out of the slot a couple of different times. That led to Jalen Petrie defending Diggs, and, well, that went Stefon Diggs 2-0 in that 2-round matchup against Jalen Petrie. Listening to Bobby Slowick talk about how they want to operate this offense, I felt like it was really intriguing with the way he said, hey, we can win games however we need to win games now. If we need to throw the ball deep a bunch to win a game, we can do that. If we need to run the ball 40 times to win a game, we can do that. And Diggs just helps them do those things on a much easier level. I don't know how teams are going to consistently cover the Texans wide receiver room. And Slowick also mentioned, the offense coordinator also mentioned, that they want to keep guys fresh with the way that they bring guys in, rotate guys. All of them have inside-outside versatility. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stefon Diggs. Let me tell you, it kind of gets you. It's not a shiver because I don't have to defend them, but it gets the heart rate elevated a little bit when you see 3 and 1 and 12 walking across the field together. It just really puts into perspective that this is one of the best wide receiver trios in all of football, and they create one of the better wide receiver rooms in all of football. Not to mention everything else that happens with the wide receiver room that could improve it. But Diggs, he has, I don't want to say he has a presence, but him being there today certainly upped the excitement and kind of it moved the heart rate up a little bit when you start to think about this Texans offense. So that is the first thing off the books for today. Is Stefon Diggs made his debut. How did he look? He looked excellent in his debut in a Texans uniform out on the field for everybody to see. What else do we learn from OTAs? Keep putting those comments in the comment section. We'll get to them here in just a few. Cornerback 2. Hey, remember last week when we talked about OTAs and everybody was freaking out about cornerback 2? Everybody was freaking out about Jeff Okudah getting beat. Everybody's freaking out about C.J. Henderson getting beat by Nico Collins or Xavier Hutchinson. Oh, what was Kamari Lassiter doing? Go get Xavier Howard. I've seen that all week long in the comment sections. Go get Stephon Gilmore. Go trade for Lattimore from the Saints. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Don't need to do any of that. Put the cover back on the panic button, okay? Put the cover back on the panic button. I'm not saying rip the panic button out of, the console, but put the cover back on the panic button. We're not hitting the panic button at cornerback 2 just yet, okay? No cornerback 2 panic, all right? Because when they ran out there a couple of different times today at cornerback, they took care of their business. Derek Stingley was sticky with Steven Sims, and Sims had basically ran a route that he had a lot of success on earlier in the day, and Stingley was so close to him, the quarterback had no choice but to miss deep to try to hit Sims, had to overthrow everything. But we're not here to talk about Stingley. Well, we kind of are, because when Stingley got on the field at the cornerback spot opposite Derek Stingley, it's Kamari Lassiter. Yeah, that's right. Kamari Lassiter, who a lot of people thought was drafted to be an inside guy, who versatility is the name of his game. Well, there wasn't any need for the versatility. He was out there at cornerback 2, opposite Derek Stingley in 7-on-7 drills. Got that opportunity to go out there. And, of course, C.J. Henderson, Jeff Okudah, they got their opportunities as well. And, look, Tank Dell over on the sideline. I believe it was Okudah who was nice and sticky with him. Dell couldn't come down inbounds. The referee that was right there waved it off, no catch. So that was a nice rep from those guys. Again, from the cornerback perspective, nothing stood out from a positive, but nothing stood out in a negative way either. So I'm not saying lose the panic button. I'm not saying forget where it's located. But that little glass case that you put over buttons you're not always supposed to push? Just close the glass case, okay? Close the glass case. No panic for cornerback 2, especially if Kamari Lassiter is good enough, if they're going to trust him right away to go out there and be cornerback 2, then you got something cooking here at the cornerback spot. Because DeMeco Ryans, Nick Caserio, they've made it clear. If you can play, if you're one of the 11 best guys that needs to be out there in that moment, they'll put you out there. And if Kamari Lassiter is one of the best cornerbacks on this team, he'll be cornerback 2. He'll play opposite Derek Stingley. What does that mean for Jeff Okudah, C.J. Henderson? Well, one of them's going to be a backup and going to have to fight a laundry list of other guys for their spot here on this team. But if Kamari Lassiter can play right away, A, great draft pick by Nick Caserio if Lassiter plays and plays well. B, it gives you a little bit more confidence because, look, we're assigning some of the failures of the past to Okudah and Henderson when they have a bad day or they have a bad moment or they have a bad play. I understand that. I get that. But DeMeco Ryans said it. Matt Burke reinforced it, the defensive coordinator, when he talked after practice today. What those guys did in the past, wipe it away. Judge them in a Texans uniform. Well, last week, you had a lot to judge and it wasn't good. This week, you don't have much to judge because they went out there and took care of the business. It was the linebackers and the safeties getting attacked today by the Texans offense. Linebackers and safeties got attacked today, and then everybody got attacked today on one of the big plays of the day. We'll talk about that here in just a moment, but cover back on the panic button for cornerback 2. Now, stay with me here as I talk about the tight ends. The tight ends tell the story of this offense. I was watching Cade Stover. I was watching Brevin Jordan. I was watching Dalton Schultz. I was watching Dalton Keene. Wasn't watching Tegan Quateriano. Didn't notice him. Didn't see him. Not saying that he was or wasn't there, but I didn't see him. He didn't stand out. Didn't notice him. Didn't check his name on roll call. Didn't look for his name on roll call. Okay? But I was watching those tight ends, and I watched Dalton Schultz run a route, and it looked like he beat his man pretty easily. And he wasn't exasperated or anything, but he kind of looked back like he thought he was going to get the football. But C.J. Stroud already made a decision, and he got the ball to somebody else. And then there was another play where they're running the play, and I think it's 7-on-7. And C.J. Stroud's looking. Next thing you know, boom, he's over to Dalton Schultz over on the left, and Schultz gets, what would have been 5 or 7 yards, something like that. Later on, Cade Stover, Davis Mills, okay? Operating the offense that way. Mills, read. Boom, Stover on an out. And he catches the ball, comes up the field a little bit. And I'm watching these guys, and then Stover gets open real quick. He's running down the middle of the field, but the quarterback's already made a decision. C.J. Stroud did it again. He goes to make a decision when the tight end's wide open, and I got to thinking, my goodness, that's what this offense is going to look like when your fourth your fifth option, your third read is somebody like the tight end who's streaking wide open. Now, again, it's 7-on-7, but because it's 7-on-7, you should have somebody accounted for everybody. But the way they operated those few plays in the OTA practice, those tight ends are just running free. And they're running free to be hit early on if they're one of the early reads, or they're running free to just be wide open, but they may not be needed in those plays because C.J. Stroud makes a play to Stefon Diggs or to Nico Collins or to Tank Dell. Davis Mills made one to like Robert Woods today, over on the sideline. These wide receivers and getting deeper in this offense and having the talent that they have, the tight ends tell you the story of what the potential of this offense is. The potential is if this guy's running free at the tight end spot, you're either hitting him for a gain because everybody else is covered, or, Collins or Diggs or Dell got open and they're hitting them for a bigger play than just hitting it to the tight ends. And that's what I just kind of noticed watching this offense a little bit is, man, these tight ends just kind of, it's like they're doing the Billy Bob play from Varsity Blues where he wanders around like he's lost. Like, is the ball ever coming to them? Well, no, because the wide receivers are getting open. And when the wide receivers get covered, that's when the ball goes to those tight ends and they're out there making some plays. So really fun observation. Got to kind of follow that through to mandatory minicamp and just kind of see, hey, is that going to be the case all the time? We're going to see that all the time. The tight ends just kind of wide open, running free, or when everybody else is covered, hitting those tight ends. That was a fun one for me to observe today. All right, plays of the day, and then I'll get to all your comments, questions, joys, concerns about Texans OTAs from Thursday the 30th. It's almost the first of the month, so get your payments in that you need to get in for the first of the month. Maybe you're a 15th of the month guy, like me for most of my stuff. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, I need some AC work. I can help you out with that here in just a moment. But plays of the day, 3 of them really jump off the page. Number 1 was 11-on-11, and Nico Collins is over on the right side. C.J. Stroud gets the snap. There's a little bit of pressure from like the right tackle, right guard area, so the pressure's kind of building on C.J. Stroud, and he uncorks one over the linebackers, in front of the corner or beside the corner in front of the safeties. Okay, I hope I explained that well. He just uncorks one over to an out route that Nico Collins ran. And I'm telling you, from my vantage point, that was the only player that was open. That was the only play that was beating that defense. It's like the perfect rep for both sides of the ball. Like the defense ran the exact play they needed to run, got pressure on the quarterback, and C.J. Stroud's just that dude that he can put it right in the bucket for Nico Collins. He tapped the toes, out of bounds, nice out route, over the linebackers, in front of the corner, and then in front of the safety coming in to help. And it was just the play of the day, and it personified the level of talent that C.J. Stroud possesses. It personified the connection that 7 and 12 have together as well. That was a really fun one. Second play of the day, Steven Sims. I think it was Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle, who is the 4th quarterback on this team. Maybe he's the 3rd quarterback on this team. Tim Boyle just lets one fly. And Steven Sims, you remember how fast he looked in the playoff game last year with the punt return. He is pumping. And he looks up, sees the ball, boop, perfect. Right into the breadbasket, touchdown. And he just blew past. I think it was Troy Pride was on him on defense. But Sims has to make those type of plays. He has to showcase that level of talent. He can help on special teams, punt return. Maybe there's some kickoff return potential there for him as well. If he's going to make the team as a wide receiver or hang around on the practice squad like he did last year, he's got to showcase everything in practice. He had a nice catch last week in OTAs that I remember, and then he had one of the plays of the day today, catching a little bomb over the shoulder from Tim Boyle. And then the most athletic play I saw all day long, was Jaden Yonke. Yeah, Jaden Yonke, the less highly touted of the Yonke twins that were practicing today for the Texans. I don't know who the defender was, and I don't recall the quarterback, but there was a little bit of pressure It was one of those things where it's 7-on-7. So eventually, the coach is like, hurry up, make a play or you're going to get sacked. And the quarterback just lets it fly and it's going a little high. And I was like, that one's an overthrow. And Jaden Yonke just whoosh, skies for that thing, both hands on the football, rips it out of the air, and the defender's underneath him. Like in basketball, when the defender's like kind of underneath you when you go up, the defender's underneath them. Again, they're not doing a lot of contact. They're not tackling anybody, but the defender's underneath them, and the defender's momentum has carried him underneath Yonke. Yonke comes down, kind of lands on the defender, holds on to the ball, but just what a display of athleticism from Yonke. Those guys may not be, the Yonke twins, they may not be straight line speed fast, but they showcase a little bit here or there from their athleticism, and they're bigger wide receivers too. So your 3 plays of the day: Stroud to Collins in a perfect 11-on-11 rep for the defense, nearly, and a perfect one for Stroud and Collins. Steven Sims over the shoulder from Tim Boyle, and the Yonke twins showing up on the radar. Jaden Yonke with the big snag, skying for it in the air. Those are your plays of the day. Get to your comments here in just a moment, right after I tell you about my friend Dwyane over at Platinum AC and Heating. Let me tell you, the tune-up for summer is what you've got to do to make sure your AC is blowing as cold as it can blow all summer long. Platinum AC and Heating will take care of you. Best service in town, best prices in town, 5-star rated on the Better Business Bureau website, 5-star rated on Google, 5-star rated on Yelp. I'm telling you, Dwyane will take care of you. From repairs to replacements to that tune-up we just talked about, Platinum AC and Heating has the best in mind for you. Make sure that air is blowing as cold as it needs to be blowing all summer long. It's going to be stinking hot. You do not want to spend 1 second without air conditioner or without your AC operating at its maximum abilities. Platinum AC and Heating can take care of you when it comes to that. Put his number in your phone, because when you need an AC guy, you need the AC guy. And that's my guy Dwyane at Platinum AC and Heating. 832-777-3683. 832-777-3683. Let's get to your comments here, the comments section. Let's fire away and see what you got for me in the comment section. Good to see you here, Daniel. Mr. Bo on the top. Good to see you. I must Pandaline. Appreciate you. Yeah, big day for the political folks. I'm sure the political Cody Stoots went live as soon as that went down. Good to see you in here, Jake. How's the rookie tight end looking? That's Cade Stover. He looks pretty darn good. I think the thing I like about Cade Stover is it takes him a couple seconds to get going. Once he's rolling, though, it's like a semi-truck that's not shifting gears or not downshifting at all. It just, wow. I can't wait for him to be able to actually have some physical contact with other players, because he's going to maul some poor safety or defensive back that tries to come up and defend him. Chewy says he's excited to see Diggs on Diggs later this year. Yeah, that'd be great. Got to make sure they're both healthy for that matchup, but that'll be a fun one. Monday Night Football, getting to tell that story. Dalton Schultz looked good, man. He's quick. He does a lot of kind of teaching by example, learn by watching type stuff. But yeah, Dalton Schultz looking good. Hope these reps help Petrie sharpen his coverage skills. I would tell you this, an interesting aspect about Petrie going on against Diggs is he was the nickel corner in that setup. Like there were 3 safeties on the field. It was Jimmy Ward, Eric Murray, and Jalen Petrie. So I would think in most setups, Petrie's sort of like a decoy. Petrie's one of those guys that's maybe blitzing from the edge. He showcased that pretty well as a rookie. So that was an interesting setup, and I'll be interested to see exactly how much the Texans use that over the course of the season, playing that chess match with their safeties. Good to see you, Justin. Yeah, it's not a shiver, it's a shimmy. Yeah, I mean, look, you can walk with some swagger when you're the Texans wide receiver and when you're as talented as all that. Who stood out the most today? Well, I mean, look, that was Stefon Diggs and Danielle Hunter, your 2 biggest additions this year. Stefon Diggs and Danielle Hunter were the 2 biggest standouts. Diggs on offense, Danielle Hunter on defense. Danielle Hunter literally teleported to CJ Stroud. They snapped the ball for 11-on-11. Next thing you know, 55's doing the old, I didn't touch him. He's the quarterback. I didn't touch him. And I'm like, how did he get there so fast? Like, it took no time for him to get past Blake Fisher, and he was at CJ Stroud. And like seconds after he arrived at CJ Stroud, there was Willie Anderson. They had a sack lunch meeting at CJ Stroud. Both of them were invited. I mean, it was a just maddening play for the offense, I'm sure, but a wow play from Danielle Hunter. And this is something to monitor and pay attention to. And Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator, just kind of slid this in, just kind of threw it in there. It's a little passing comment. They believe there's a chance Danielle Hunter has untapped pass rush potential, and it could be tapped into in this style of defense. Now think about that. Danielle Hunter was already one of the top sack guys, was already the top tackle for a loss guy, constant pressure, freakazoid, multiple Pro Bowls, double-digit sack years, all that stuff. And they think there's a little bit more to Danielle Hunter's game. That's scary to think about if you're one of these opposing teams trying to slow down the Houston Texans. Going to be rabid defense. Rabid defense. Stefon Diggs helps this group become special, no doubt. Now we have a real NFL offense, man. It's going to be, it's going to be fun to watch. Clinton says 7-on-7 tough for the secondary to really show out. Yeah, it's not easy, man. OTAs is offense friendly. There's no pass rush. You don't get to get very physical with guys. And look, Bobby Slowick's dialing stuff up in freaking practice, so stopping that's not going to be easy. Mr. Robot says, I'm not worried at all. Like our corners' depth, speed, tackling, athleticism, technique, and Kamari doing his thing. Man, I'm excited to see more of Kamari Lassiter. I am. Really am. I'm excited to see more of Kamari Lassiter and what he brings to the table. Okudah, not a slot guy. No, I'm with you on that. Des King, Lassiter, if he plays there, safety's walking up, helping out. But yeah, Okudah, definitely not a slot guy. The thing they like about Okudah, the thing they like about C.J. Henderson is length and speed combination. They like that they're longer cornerbacks. Okudah has really long arms, and they like that they're a little bit speedier cornerbacks as well. Good to see everybody. Try to get to as many of these comments as I can. Nickelback almost as important to cornerback too. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. The tight end's like the third or fourth option. I mean, one of the plays, they were like the fifth option. It was great. It was great. The tight end check down game is going to be fun, man. Going to be fun. Marion's Berries, 20-0, baby. I like the way you think. Clinton says drafting Texans in fantasy football is going to pay off. I like Nico where he is in most mock drafts right now, and best ball drafts. I love Tank where he is. I think you can get some great value with Tank compared to some of the other guys going where he's going. And Diggs is tough. You kind of got to make a decision, Nico or Diggs. I kind of lean Nico more often than not. And then Mixon's just, I mean, he's fallen, and it's like, what are you doing? This guy's ready to rock. I mean, he is excited. Listening to Joe Mixon talk about this offense, he is so damn excited to be in it. DeRhino with the super chat. DeRhino, thank you so much for the support and the super chat. He says, OTAs excite me. Here's money. I appreciate that, DeRhino. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the kind words, and glad we can fill your scratch the OTA itch and fill the cup with OTA goodness to drink on for a couple days till mandatory minicamp gets here. Thank you. Of course, if you have a super chat, you go to the front of the line. I'll get your question answered before I get everybody else's. What days are remedial out of mandatory minicamp next week? I believe it is going to be Tuesday and Wednesday next week. That's what I believe it's going to be. I don't have that for sure. I believe Tuesday and Wednesday. First off, thank you for all the content you provided for us. Did you see anything from the CB2 position? Also, anything about Jamal Hill? Yep, talked about the CB2s at the beginning. Jamal Hill had a nice play. He was like, I think he was the middle linebacker. He's one of the linebackers that was on the field. Maybe the only linebacker on the field. I don't know. But he was on the field, and Ben Skoranek ran a quick in right in front of him. And he went in there, and he broke up the play. And I thought he got there early, and the officials are there. Like, they got zebras out there with flags, and they'll throw flags and stuff like that. I thought Jamal Hill was early, but he was there. He broke up the Skoranek pass. Skoranek made a really nice sliding catch later on, but Hill read it well. And that's something to That's something to certainly pay attention to is, maybe a special teams guy in combination with, linebacker depth. Henry To'o and Jake Hansen are in the linebacker depth conversation, but, Hill's got a chance. Hill's got a didn't notice much of Dameon Pierce today. That's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. There's not a negative or a positive associated with it. They didn't really throw the ball to the backs out of the backfield very often. And they didn't do hardly any, I don't think they did any running anything, so. Who's taking reps first team offensive line? They mix and match. I will say that Charlie Heck and Blake Fisher presented little to no resistance for Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. So get well soon, Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil. I also thought it was funny. Joe Mixon said when they get Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil back, put them on the offensive line, it's going to be like parting the Red Sea. So I guess Joe Mixon will be Joe Moses, and the offensive line will be parting the Red Sea, and he'll be scampering through there. Chill out. I like that. Swarm the like button. Yeah, the little thumbs up button. Go hit that thing. Swarm it. I like that. I never thought Lassiter would be pigeonholed in the slot after watching his film. Speed, technique on the outside, not a concern. Plus, with safety help, his side of the field be locked down. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm with you on that. We all watching football week 1. Can't wait for football. Yeah, it's going to be a fun. I mean, it can't get here fast enough, man. It cannot get here fast enough. Let's see here. Predictions for the final wide receiver room. Obviously Diggs, Collins, Dell, Brown, Mechie, Skoranek, I guess. I haven't seen enough to really say, this, 4, 5, 6 should be this or should be that. Haven't seen that much. That's what was missing on the first practice is Danielle Hunter. Yeah, Danielle Hunter, he wasn't there last week. He was there this week and took care of his business. Yeah, so that play that I described, the Danielle Hunter sack, the play that I described, they would have, it'd have been like a horror movie. It'd have been Willie Anderson coming this way and Danielle Hunter coming this way, and it'd been like a horror movie, but you can't touch the quarterback. Yeah, Blake Fisher going to get some good learning reps, that's for sure. Going to get some good learning reps. No doubt about that. All right, let me catch up here on all the comments. And then I got something for you. I got something for here we go. Actually, John has the question. Have you done a Kenyon Green update? I have not, but let me get to it here. Again, not a lot of offensive line, defensive line stuff to observe. I think there was one moment where I saw Tim Settle kind of really get into it, fire off the ball with the offensive line. They kind of just, held him up. All right, so y'all were critical last week about my Kenyon Green photography content. Cody, what was this? We can't see. We can't tell. Everybody's very critical. The comment section was critical. I get it. Okay? Here's your Kenyon Green update. This is from Google Images, okay? This is kind of what Kenyon Green looked like. I think this is from last year, maybe 2 years ago because Kaimi's got the 7 on. But this is what Kenyon Green looked like, previously. All right? This is what Kenyon Green looks like now. Look at that. You got space in the shirt. The belly's gone a little bit. Okay. Look at this one. Look at this. This is not tightened up. This is a little sloppy. Okay. Not the case here. That's what he looks like these days. Look at that. You get space in the jersey. No more vacuum seal on the jersey, man. I went and got my guy, Photo Eddie. His information is in the description down below. It's my guy, Eddie Clark. I went and got a big-time professional photographer for you guys. Okay? Here's Kenyon holding the bag for one of the other offensive linemen. Here he is again. Again, space in the shirt for a jersey that looked like he could barely fit into it a couple of years ago and last year. It's space in the shirt. All right? Let's get you a little bit more Kenyon Green. Share this tab. Look at that. No rolls over here on the side. And Kenyon Green's in good shape, man. What's up, Coach Strausser? What's up, Coach Strausser? One of the best offensive line coaches in football. Here's one more for you. Kenyon Green holding the bag. Again, space in the shirt. Okay? Get you even closer here. Space in the shirt. No fat rolls like me. Like I'm a fat guy expert, okay? No fat rolls, okay? Space in the shirt. Look at all that extra space. No more vacuum sealed jerseys on Kenyon Green, man. No more vacuum sealed jerseys. There's your Kenyon Green update, and there's some damn good photos for you. My guy Photo Eddie Clark, he takes care of me. He is fantastic, the official photographer for Houston football. What y'all think about that? The number change does look way better. Lean, mean, Kenyon Green. Absolutely. I may have missed it. Was Juice at center? Yeah. He was. Will there be an opening week party? Yes, we will have a get together, hopefully, for everybody out and about somewhere here in Houston. And we'll have some get together fun stuff here for the digital folks who aren't in Houston traveling, can't make it, whatever. You think the defense is going to be the top 10? Yes, I do. That front seven is going to be freaking nasty, man. It's going to be freaking nasty. Out of all the additions, who's under the most pressure to perform? I'd say maybe Joe Mixon. Yes, because I don't know who's helping Joe Mixon if he doesn't get it done. I know Dameon Pierce, OTAs last week, looked like he transformed his body a little bit. But if Mixon's not performing, I don't know what they're going to do at running back. They're going to have to run the football at some point this year. Cody, is Dylan Horton on the field yet? He was not at practice, but Nick Caserio was on the Jim Rome show, and he said that Horton's working to get back on the field, working his conditioning, and they're hoping that he can contribute at some point this year. Very positive update. Very positive update on Dylan Horton. Yeah, I do agree. Mixon will be a TD machine. How's the defense looking? In the words of Joe Mixon, sheesh. I mean, that was literally what he said. He got asked about the defense. He whistled and said, sheesh. And then he followed it up with, I'm glad those guys are on my team. The defense, man, that front seven, when they get to put pads on, they're going to control football games with that front seven. With Azeez Al-Shire and Christian Harris at linebacker and the multitude of pass rushers that they can throw at them. Matt Burke was talking about Danico Autry and some of the uniqueness to his game. Like, they are going to control teams with that front seven over the course of the season. It's going to be so exciting to watch. Jorge with a good question. How do you think the team will handle last year's success, especially with the addition of Diggs and Mixon, as they take pressure off and opens up for CJ to pick and choose, spread the ball? CJ will throw to the open guy. That's what I feel like we're going to learn quick about this offense. He's going to throw to the open guy. As far as pressure, look, and handling the success from last year, they didn't handle success well early in the season, but they figured it out how to handle success, and they got off and running here throughout the rest of that schedule. After kind of Atlanta, Carolina, that little dip there, once they got the winning, they kind of figured out how to handle those things. So that was a positive. And the amount of guys that come back look like they're in better shape, working hard, OTAs day, whatever it is for them, second day we got to watch them. Like Nico Collins is out there running his drill perfectly. The guy signed a $75 million contract yesterday, and he was out there busting his ass on the finite, minute details of his game. And like this, DeMeco Ryans is not going to let this team between the ears fall apart. That's one of my biggest beliefs in this thing, is that DeMeco Ryans is not going to let this thing fall apart between their ears. Mr. Farrell, good to see you. Blue Boy 5. I, too, am a fat guy expert. Quite impressive. Like I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Kenyon Green has done the work. Lean, mean, Kenyon Green. So if we have a top 10 defense and a top 5 offense, how far do they go in the playoffs? They play for the AFC Championship. If they have a top 10 defense and they have a top 5 offense, they will play for an AFC Championship. I don't know who they'll play against. Maybe it's the Ravens. Maybe it's the Chiefs. They'll play for an AFC Championship if they have a top 10 defense and a top 5 offense. Like they will get to the AFC Championship game. Mr. Farrow says, no lie, man. I wish you and BK, maybe the other guy, get together, talk about the Texans again. I went through a lot of pain with you guys. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the kind words. Listen a little bit to the Wheelhouse back in the day. We're attempting a Wheelhouse reunion show. So that's in the works. We'll do a little one-off. We'll do it on a Tuesday so we can play a little hypothetical Tuesday. We'll have some fun. We'll do some Wheelhouse. I like the way you tell the truth about the Texans, even if it's good or bad, you don't sugarcoat it. Look, I'm going to tell you what I see, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on what I saw. So you're always going to hear factually what I saw, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on top of it. I hope you enjoy it. It feels like a lot of you guys and gals do, and I appreciate you tuning in and throwing the thumbs up on my way and subscribing to the channel and checking out my guy Dwyane at Platinum AC and Heating and hanging out with him and talking Texans and getting your AC blowing cool, all that great stuff. So I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate the kind words there. Gridiron Sportscast, is Titus healthy? He's not. I don't know why he's acting like a vet, not showing up when he got cooked last season. Yeah, so he's rehabbing, so he's still working back. So this is not Titus doesn't want to be here. It's Titus is still working back. That's my understanding. Does Fisher push Howard out of the tackle spot? No, I don't believe he will. Finute. I messed up a word the other day. What did I mess up? I can't remember what it was. It was just I could not. I bungled it miraculously. I had to edit the video. I think I had to restart it actually, maybe. But yeah, I'll get to going pretty fast and mess up some words every now and then. Good to see you, John. Stoots just joined. Can you do a 10-second recap of how Diggs looked? He looked like Stefon. Why did I do these syllables? He looked like Stefon Diggs. There you go. There's your 10-second recap. Nico's low-key like Dre, quiet but deadly. Yeah, look, he can really lull you to sleep with his demeanor. Calm, put together, works his ass off. Caserio talked about this today with Nico Collins and when he first got into the league. And he said when Nico got in the league, he hadn't played football in a year. He took the COVID year off at Michigan, so he didn't play that. So he came in 2021. Team sucked. He wasn't in shape. Caserio mentioned he was too heavy. And it's taken him a while to work back to the level that he needed to get to. And, you saw when he's healthy and he's put in the work and he's improved himself. And, he gave a lot of credit to Ben McDaniels. When he talked about it, Caserio talked about Ben McDaniels, the wide receivers coach. They put a lot of work into Nico, and it's paid off for him. Pedro, I miss Cody's Astros and Rockets takes. My Astros take is they can't pitch to save their lives. I know they did well today, but they can't pitch to save their lives on a consistent basis. My Rockets takes, I didn't have those when the Wheelhouse was going. Just jokes. I said it when they lost the Ravens. The AFC champion has to come through Houston. Well, that'd be nice, man. You could make that AFC championship game be in Houston NRG Stadium in January. That'd be real nice. I mean, if you could make that be the case, that would be real nice. That would be a good one to that'd be a good one to watch. Doesn't matter who you're playing. If that AFC championship game is in Houston, you're going to be through the moon. Through the moon, over the moon. Through the roof, over the moon. You know what I mean. Let's see here. How did Kalen Bullock look? I thought he looked pretty good. He's no play to speak of. Like he didn't make a play or anything like that. But that's Bullock, one of those great high-quality images from today. He was out there. Safeties, linebackers, they kind of got picked on thought the safeties did better with the second, third unit, so that's Bullock. Overall, I thought the safeties did better with the second and third unit than the first unit safeties. First unit safeties got picked on. Let's see here. How about a little Cade Stover for you? Okay. Get that thing tight. Got that thing tight. I'm just going through some of the cool pictures we had today from the workout. Eddie Clark, the photographer, lucky enough to have with me. This is a cool one. Dalton Schultz out there making the break, not giving it away with his eyes too much. I mean, a little bit. The body's already going that way, but you could tell he just darted the eyes that way, trying to sneak that safety out of there. Let's see. I had a funny one here. This is Caserio, short shorts. Look, disgusted with what he's seen. Nah, that's not disgusted, Caserio, but he was out there. No visor. I thought he definitely would be in visor mode, Caserio. No visor from Caserio. Here's some of the new DBs here for you. Obviously, Bullock and Lassiter. Lonnie back on the team. 23 is Eric Murray. I should know that off the top of my head. There's some pictures for you. Was Tank there? Yes. Yes, he was. Had a nice catch over the middle. Blue Boyer. Tegan Q and Dare O wasted roster spots. I definitely think so. I mean, if they played tomorrow, Dara Gumwale would be running back 3. So he's not a wasted roster spot. Not yet. And the special teams usefulness is going to be interesting to pay attention to with him. And then Tegan Quintiriano, I mean, he's got to get on the field. So I don't know. He's got to get on the field. I can't tell you anything about him until he gets on the field. Would you rather fight Andre Johnson or Nico? That's a real tough question. I'd rather fight Nico. I know what Andre can do to a man. He can break his soul. How'd the linebacker core look? Not the starters. Next guy's up. I mean, Jamal Hill had a pass breakup. They went more outside and a little bit deeper with some of the second and third unit guys than, some of that shorter stuff. Azeez Al-Shire and Christian Harris, they got attacked by C.J. Stroud a little bit. Hey, Dallas going to the finals. That's funny. DJ Hashbrown, is T-Mac still mad at you? I mean, you asked about one of the coolest shoes ever, and the guy didn't appreciate the question, and doesn't want you on the interview the next time. So that's a bummer. CJ Fedorowicz was good. Too bad he had to retire early. The tight end out of Iowa, CJ Fedorowicz. Fedorowicz was building something, putting something together, and I think the brain injury stuff and maybe some worry about some of that. It ended up sending him into an early retirement. Thanks for the great photos. You took the time to get us. They look great. Yeah, that's my guy, Eddie Clark. His link to his Twitter is in the description of this video. Check out Eddie's work. He's great, man. And we're going to have Eddie shoot some video as well. So we'll have some fun stuff. Let me see if I got another really fun picture for you. He did a great job capturing some CJ Stroud today. Let me get you a couple Stroud pictures. Come on, where are they at? Here we go. Looks like the football's coming right for you. The football's coming right for you. Good follow through from CJ. I'm sure that's coached. The way he finishes it with his hand. Good follow through. Boop. Flick of the wrist. Yeah. Eddie Clark does a great job, man. He's one of the best photographers in town, man. He's awesome. Somebody asked, hey, what about the guy that's using your videos? Don't like it. Would prefer he wouldn't, Asked him not to. He's still using them. So it's unfortunate. Linebackers, man, they can move, man. There's no Christian Kirksey's plodding around over there to, heavy footing it. There's none of those guys in the corner or the linebacker room right now. Noah says, killing it, Cody. Thank you. Thank you, Noah. Mr. Robot, no more vest because of our last cornerback, too. Yeah, I don't think Steven Nelson made Nick Caserio stop wearing the vest. I don't think so. Lonnie Johnson, comeback player of the year? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. If Diggs is the Rock and Nico Stone Cold, what does that make Tank Dell? Ooh. Like Rey Mysterio, right? I mean, for the size, flying all over the place, world heavyweight champion. Why is Titus not showing he was terrible last year? Needs the reps. He's hurt. How'd Henry To'oTo'o look? Did not pay attention to Henry To'oTo'o today. I'll look next week for you. How'd Max Tooley look? He got in on a play, and then it looked like he hurt his hand coming off the field. I have to pay attention to that going forward. He's doing one of those like shake his hand off things. Just got here, saw the title. How's Diggs doing? Well, if you want to rewind, you can. I'll just tell you, Stefon Diggs looks like Stefon Diggs. You can look at the new D line, or are they still compete for that last DT spot? And that's a rotation, man. That's a thing that they're gonna figure it out over the next few months. I mean, Davis and Heinisch and Fatu. Oh crap! I thought I learned it. Fatu. Come on, Fatukasi. Come on, Cody. Fatukasi, yeah. Foley Fatukasi and Tim Settle. I'll tell you what, Tim Settle's a big SOB. Tim Settle is a big SOB. There's going to be some guys that try to move him that they cannot move him when he settles. Pun intended. I'd like to see Nico win more 50-50 balls. We have such a good scheme. We don't often need it, but I want to see him have that ability. I mean, he's tough as nails, so I'm not betting against him. What do you think a successful season looks like for our main rookies? For Lassiter, it's play a bunch. Same with Bullock. It's if you have an opportunity to play a bunch, play a bunch. And for Stover, it's just be valuable when you do get opportunities. I can't tell you there's a statistical plateau for those guys or playing time or anything like that, but success looks like production for those guys when they have their opportunity. Mr. Farrow, I'm already marking preseason on my calendar. 98 days. 98 days till the NFL season kicks off. So we're checking in at 101 until the Texans kick off. Starting tomorrow will be 100 days until Texans kick off. Right around the corner, man. Right around the corner. Gridiron Sportscast asks, what's your story, Cody? What made you a Texans fan? Well, I grew up in Houston, from Houston. And I mean, that was, I was not I was more of a baseball fan growing up. So I was a big Astros fan, was not a huge football fan, and certainly wasn't an Oilers fan. They were here when I was a lot younger, but I wasn't an Oilers fan. And just when the Texans showed up, I mean, it made sense. That's my team. It's my city. That's my team. Love the Texans. And was a season ticket holder, second year of the franchise for a few more years, and got to go to the first, I'm pretty sure it's the first game, if I remember right. The first game is Miami Dolphins preseason, and we made fajitas in the parking lot and ate them off of Frisbees. It was great. So it's fantastic. My buddy's dad to this day still won't tell me where he buys this fajita meat. It drives me nuts. It's the best fajita meat I've ever had in my life. And then as far as like media, went to school, didn't like my business classes, and said, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Left my business classes. My buddy was being kind of a smart aleck, and he's like, why don't you just talk about sports? You seem to know everything about that. And I was like, duh, I listen to sports radio. Why can't I do sports radio? Got a journalism degree, worked in Lubbock covering Texas Tech and some of the Dallas teams. Was lucky enough to come back to Houston, was at Sports Radio 610 as a part-timer. Got the job with Lopez, got let go, improved myself, got better. Lucky enough to go over to 97.5 and Gal Media, do some stuff with them. Did some national radio stuff, got let go. Worked for SI, worked for Outkick, got back with Gal Media on ESPN 97.5, did the show with them for about 22 months, and then here we are right here. So there's a abbreviated story. The long story with all the details, that requires you to see me in person and us to have some beverages. What's going on with Texans Bites and Insights? I think that's going to be the name. DJ Hash Brown. I think that's going to be the name. Nobody else has offered up a better name. It's my food review series that I'm going to put together. We'll put them at the back end of lives, or we'll watch them together, or we'll put them at the back end of the recorded videos. And Insights. I like that. I got to make sure I write that down. I mean, look, we're working on it. I got some fun stuff in the hopper. Jared Patterson practice position. Center, if I remember correctly. Maybe a little guard. How's Miles Bryant doing at practice? Well, he had a play today that basically, if he was taller, he'd have made it. He's a short guy. Him and J.J. Taylor, it's like startling to see them on the football field. J.J. Taylor's 5'6", officially on the roster. And then Bryant's 5'9", officially on the roster. It is startling to see them out there. Delshon Phillips and David Sharp, so two free agent additions. Sharp, you notice Sharp because he wears 75, so I end up finding him when I'm looking for Kenyon Green. And then, Delshon, I don't know. And then one paying attention to Phillips. Does Nico extension mean Diggs is gone? More than likely, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Christian S. says, I'm late. How'd Kamara Rassler look? I mean, you want to check out the beginning, but it was good. It was good. It's a clip of Tim Settle knocking Quentin Nelson on his ass. I mean, look, I like that. Tim Settle, I think there's something there. I think there's something there with Tim Settle. That's how I would phrase it. How confident are you in Petrie? Not super confident, but I certainly understand how he could bounce back. How did John Mechie look? Did not have a play like that I can be like, oh, Mechie did this, but he looked fast. He looked agile. And for Mechie, a lot of this is just building on last year and making sure that you take care of the opportunities that you do have. So from that standpoint, I thought Mechie looked, fast. Doing some back of house work here. Give me just a second here as I kind of. Okay. We have to make sure we get Landry Locker's coming up at 10:30, so I'm going to get out of here in the next few minutes. But you can watch him at 10:30. I was trying to get you so you would automatically jump to his stream for tonight, but we'll just drop the link in there and do the flood like we usually do. All right, firing through. Mob Squad. Thanks for all the info. You're doing a great work, Cody. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in. And all the likes and subscribes and super chats and subscriptions to Houston football, which, by the way, over 1,000 words on OTAs today at Houston football. Over 1,000 words, 11 plus observations, $7 a month. You buy a year, we'll give you the price of a year for 10 months. Which non-Texans game are you looking forward to? The first one. Which non-Texans game am I looking forward to? Florida State, Boston College on Labor Day, so I can watch the Seminoles destroy Bill O'Brien. That's what I'm looking forward to. Blake, good to see you in here. Dom from New Jersey. Not going to lie, just seeing Diggs out there today gave me chills. Twitter was buzzing. I tell you what, man, it elevates that kind of that juice of that offense, seeing him out there. Will you return to Sports Radio 610 full-time? Not really my decision. I pop in with those guys from time to time. I'm Always happy to go on there and visit with John or Landry, or Brandon Scott, any of those guys, man. I'm on Utopia with Pendergast every now and then. Can't wait for the biopic, Cody. Let's see here. Farley's dead, so he can't play me. Melissa McCarthy could probably do it, depending on how big she is these days. I'd have to figure out who would play me. My life's not famous enough for a biopic. Maybe one day. Wouldn't mind it. What about Cody Eats? Cody Eats. There's got to be something I could do with the name and eating and all that kind of stuff. We'll have to come up with that. Do you feel Watt will be back for the playoffs, bring value to the D-line rotation? Matt Burke was asked about J.J. Watt today, and he's like, I haven't talked to him in a while, but I'll talk to him soon. And I tried to joke with Burke, and I thought it was a pretty good joke. I was like, you'll talk to him in the building? And he's like, no, I ain't getting into all that. I was like, okay. Why are the Jets high on the power rankings? Your guess is as good as mine. Aaron Rodgers looked like he was moving slow in a clip that I saw. But he don't have to move slow. You can throw that thing a million miles still, I'm sure. One Mike Street, one way to go, Cody. Living your best life. Keep winning. Thank you. I'm going to bring y'all with me. We're all going to keep winning, having fun, talking Texans football. I mean, this organization was in the dumps the past couple of years. I mean, I can remember doing podcasts with Landry and Mike Meltzer and us being freaking miserable talking about Deshaun wanting to get traded. And now we're having a blast talking about, backup tight ends and cornerbacks and safeties and stuff like that, man. Like, it's such a fun time to be talking Texans, and I appreciate each and every one of you that watches. I hope my gratitude is never absent. Jets have a very good roster. It's okay. I mean, the O-line stinks. We don't know if the quarterback's healthy. Week 9, the deadline, I believe so. For trades, but not for signings. Does D'Amico look different from being a rookie head coach? Too early to say. If Watt was to make a return, what role would you like to see him come back as? Situational pass rusher. Rumor has it if you say Oilers 3 times in the mirror, John McClain will appear in your kitchen making a sandwich. Well, I'm pretty hungry. If McClain could do that, then it'd be nice. He was not, but he's close to returning, according to Nick Caserio. Let me back that up here. Let me phrase that. He's close to getting on the field in a hope of a return. I want to phrase that in a better way. Caserio on the Jim Rome show today said that Horton is working out again, trying to get his conditioning up, and then eventually it's the return to the field, and then maybe he can make an impact. But he was not there today, to my knowledge. Stoots didn't know you were live. YouTube just brought me here automatically. LOL. Good. Thank you, YouTube. YouTube's been very nice to me. So many special teams work at OTAs, new kickoffs. Yes, that's a closed portion of practice. Frank Ross is one of the best special teams coaches in football. And they've been putting in work on that. They have 2 big special teams periods every time we've been out there. How does Kate Stover look? Good. They practice the new special teams, yes. Will I see you in week 4 versus the Jags? Is that the home game or is that the road game? That's the home game, right? Week 4 is the home game, right? Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be at every home game. Feel bad for JJ's soccer team. Yeah, they got relegated, didn't they? I found out today they got relegated. Shows you how much I keep up with that. Just aside from body type, how did Green's technique look so far? Hard to tell. It's, OTAs, no pads, no live contact. Stoots and Toots. Yeah. Cousin Cody with 12 dozen. Always great to see a Stoots live. Sacks and snacks. I like that. It's not a bad one. Marion's Berries. You must be new here. It's a good proclamation for you. If the Texans win the Super Bowl, doesn't matter when it happens, Texans win the Super Bowl, I will do a 24-hour live stream. It'll actually be 3 different videos, but I'll be live for 24 hours straight if the Texans win the Super Bowl. Not after the Super Bowl, but like later that week, I'll do a 24-hour live stream about the Texans and a variety of other things. We'll probably play some football, on like split screen and stuff like that. Do you think the most potent Texans offense we've seen the Texans? Yes. Shout out to the fans that have been here from day one. Tough being a fan. We're blessed. CJ, D'Amico, you the man, Cody. Thank you, H-Town's Ultimate. Brandon wants Landry, Lopez, and Lonnie Johnson together. I don't think that's going to be happening. Same here. YouTube brought me to this live. I love it too. Real thoughts? Subscribe so you never miss. Hit the little bell so you never miss either. Pedro with a contender here. The Sweet Life of Snack and Cody. A play on The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. There's a contender right there. There's a contender right there. All right. We'll put it in the comment section for you. Landry Locker is about to be live here on YouTube. Go to his channel. Tell him Cody Stoots sent you. Listen to the Lock Dog break everything down. He's one of my best friends in the entire world. I'd take a bullet for that guy. He is fantastic. So check him out here on YouTube. Head over there. Go watch him. This is how I end each and every live stream. I want you to have these things. I want you to do these things. It's my hope for you. It's my charge for you. That's what I always say. It's my hope for you. It's my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good, sleep good, be good. I can't wait till we talk Texans again soon. Head over to Landry's stream. Check him out. I will see you there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon.